Hey everybody, it's Dr. Keith Weingart. I'm a holistic veterinarian and welcome back to Off the Leash with Dr. Keith. Today I wanted to talk to you about a really important nutrient. It's an amino acid that our bodies can't make itself, yet it's so important that we have receptors and transporters in our mitochondria and our cells to take up this amino acid. It's called ergothioneine. Okay, and it's starting to be considered a longevity vitamin. In the research around this particular nutrient, it was found that the people in longevity studies, the people who lived the longest, had the highest levels of ergothioneine. So they started looking at what these folks were eating in their diet. Well, it turns out that the people who were living the longest and had the highest levels of ergothioneine were in this portion of Italy where they're eating a lot of porcini mushrooms. So it's been determined that we can't make this amino acid ourselves in our bodies, but if we eat mushrooms or raw milk, that's a good way for us to take this up. Now, not all mushrooms are the same. Some mushrooms have higher levels, like porcini mushrooms are really high, while golden oyster mushrooms are also considered to be very high in ergothioneine. Now, I've been taking ergothioneine, this amino acid, longevity vitamin, for the past year, and I can attest to its benefits. Now, the things I notice are mental clarity, cognitive focus, energy, stability, and especially exercise recovery. Now, the ways this works is ergothioneine as an amino acid is a very, very potent antioxidant. Okay, so when our cells are making energy in our mitochondria, the little powerhouse, they're doing respiration and making ATP for energy. A byproduct of that is the production of what's called free radicals. Okay, and normally our antioxidant enzymes in our cells buffer those free radicals and keep things in check. But with a lot of chronic disease states, almost all chronic disease states, chronic inflammatory diseases, autoimmune conditions, and especially cancer, what we see is those antioxidant mechanisms get overwhelmed and we see lots of oxidative stress. It's a big part of the picture and why a lot of diseases keep cycling and becoming almost vicious cycles. So what's been found is, especially in patients with cancer or chronic diseases, they have very low levels of serum ergothioneine. So if we can actually consume foods like mushrooms that have high levels of ergothioneine, we can boost our levels in our serum, and that can really go a long way towards reducing oxidative stress and preventing the development of chronic diseases. So what I've done is I've sourced a really clean organic source of golden oyster mushrooms, which has a really high level of ergothioneine, and we're starting to sell that through Elemental Pet. So if you want to try your pet on ergothioneine, which I think is a very, very safe and very effective way to promote health, you can go to Elemental Pet and you can look for Ergo Gold. Dr. Keith is providing that for you. And if there's any questions, I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. I've been, again, researching this stuff for quite a bit of time and have been experimenting a lot with it in my own body. And one of the really wonderful things about it is there's a very, very high margin of safety. There's really very, very low toxicity. And then the dosages that we're taking these mushrooms to get that ergothioneine, it can be very, very effective in preventing the development of chronic diseases and also helping potentially prevent the development of cancer. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time on Off the Leash with Dr. Keith.